Mic check, mic check. Can y'all hear me? My mic wasn't plugged up right. And for some reason it was affecting the audio. I think I got it right now. Good morning, everybody. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get the notifications so you can catch me whenever I'm on live. Can y'all hear me? I'm fighting through the screens this morning. I have something planned for y'all, but we're gonna get to it maybe this evening or this afternoon. All right. Chuck, what up? Make sure y'all subscribed, man, so y'all can catch the notifications whenever I'm on here. I appreciate y'all for getting up this morning. I was supposed to start earlier, but y'all know it's Ramadan. And I'll be having to make sure I get all of that squared away. But I got a very, very interesting discussion piece for y'all this morning. PILLMATIC, we gonna get to that. And I apologize for what happened last night. I just launched a new podcast. It's called The Podium. The title of The Podium is a combination of professional and podium. And that discussion that I had with DJ Scripps from Brooklyn, he's a Haitian American. The audio was compromised. I feel that he was in his, it has something to do with the Bluetooth in his car or whatever. It wasn't the best audio, and I'm gonna do that over. I can't repackage the intensity of the discussion from the first one, but we're gonna do it again, and it's gonna drop on the Podium. So just look that word up. Gully TV presents The Podium, and you'll catch that. We gonna run through that again. He told me that he left some things out. The HIV shit, the Abner situation, but we're gonna go back into that. Anyway, good morning, Miami Vibes, what up? Share this live stream, yo. My man come in here and says Beanie has a better body at work. I agree with that 100%. I agree with that unequivocally. I do. I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna write that down. Anyway, good morning. This is to Math Hoffa. You would jack his ass like the Johnny Knoxville, so I can just imagine how your pops feel. We gotta discuss this. Everybody's talking about it. This is a topic that was sparked during a discussion between Rory and Mal on the My Expert Opinion platform. And I thought that I listened to both parties' perspective. What Math was saying, it wasn't like really far-fetched, and he didn't diss Jadakiss. It wasn't a diss, but he offered an opinion that is subjective, and I want to see how y'all feel about it. So let's get right into it. Is it any truth to the fact that Jadakiss doesn't have a classic solo album? When we speak about classic hip-hop albums, normally the votes, the reputation, the buzz, the appreciation of the said project is a landslide. There's no disputing it. Everybody said, yo, that's a classic. Paid in Full by Eric B. and Rakim, that's a classic, right? It was written by Nas, classic. Some people even consider PILLMATIC to be, the debut to be a classic. Me personally, I feel that it was better than Illmatic, and most people agree. You think about albums like Reasonable Doubt by Jay-Z. I feel Jay-Z has a couple of classics, like several actually. But let's take Reasonable Doubt. And the one that came after that, I think it was Hard Knock Life Volume 2. I consider that to be a classic. DMX dropped two classics back to back. Um, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, and When It's Dark, Hell Is Hot, or whatever. Um, you have Only Built for Cuban Links, known as the Purple Tape by Raekwon. That's something that some people would consider a classic. Iron Man by Ghostface Killer. Supreme Clientele. Ghostface is another guy who got several classics. These albums that I'm mentioning right now, oh, the infamous Mobb Deep classic, even though they're a group. I was speaking in terms of solo projects, but the infamous is a classic. What I'm trying to say in totality is, when speaking of a hip hop classic, normally it's unequivocal. And as we go into this discussion, y'all are going to see that different people are going to say different things about Jadakiss. You're going to have some people say Kiss the Game Goodbye. I mean, you're going to have some people say Kiss of Death, and some people is going to say something else. But it's not going to be a landslide decision, and as you're going to see in just a minute. But that's what was, brought to the table as far as a discussion. And to keep it real, I always felt that way about Jadakiss. I never scrutinized him to the point that it stood out that he didn't have a classic, because he put out so much dope shit. He put out so many dope freestyles. Jadakiss went on a solo run during the DVD era on the come up. Like, Fendi was putting out whole Jadakiss DVDs with nothing but Jadakiss freestyles and Jadakiss videos, and he was blazing hot. But when you say classic, does he have something in his catalog that you can sit on the mantle? 400 Degrees is a classic by Juvenile. Does he have something in his catalog that you can sit on the mantle or sit on the put on the marquee next to other classic albums? And in my opinion, he does not. So what I want to do right now, I want to ask a lot of y'all in the chat, and I'm going to read the comments to the best of my ability. I appreciate that you super chat some of them, because I won't be able to read everybody's. If it means something to you, super chat it. That means you're going to highlight your comment, and I'm going to read it. But in a nutshell, I'm gonna try to cover everybody's dialogue in terms of this discussion. I had the chat line on this morning, and I'm having some problems. But the next time I get on, the hotline will be open. Got it? All right. Boom. He says, so the Lox albums don't count. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I wrote a whole treatment about the Lox before I got on here. Y'all know I'm dangerous with this pen and pad. So before we go into the whole Jadakiss thing, the Lox dropped January 13th, 1998. That's when the Lox album came out. Their debut album, I consider to be a classic. It had several hot jams on it. It actually had 3 singles. Money, Power, Respect was a single. Jiggy was a single. And We Always Love Big Papa was a single. Right? In between those 3 singles, that was respectable. Money, Power, Respect was star-studded. Had Little Kim on there. I can't overlook Not to Be Fucked With, which was a solo song on the album by Styles P. Get This Money, I Want to Thank You, featuring Kelly Price. And Let's Start Rap Over, which was actually a remake of a song called Let's Start Love Over. I think that was Miles J. But that first album I consider to be their classic. You might have on your list other classic albums by the Lox. think We Are the Streets was dope. They probably have others, but this one, as far as global appeal, you can play this joint at the barbecue. You can play this joint in hip hop clubs. You can play this with the thugs. You can play this with the females. They debut album and shit. It had about 17 or 18 tracks. I got about 8 of them listed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I got 8 of them listed that I consider would make that debut album a classic. But as a solo artist, my man says some albums are classics regionally. Somebody said, Uptown Mars says, no classics, but a great catalog. People overuse the word classic. He's basically a first ballot Hall of Famer with no rings. I think I agree with you. When you hear people talk about, and it started early. It actually started during the debut album. I was locked up. I was in a prison called Retreat when the locks first came out, January 13th, 1990. Our basketball team used to come out to Money, Power, Respect. People were saying, they was speaking about this kid Jadakiss. That's all I was hearing. That's all they was talking about in the jail. Like, people picked up on his greatness early, and it's continued. You know, he declared himself top 5 dead or alive. Whenever MC's names come up, his name pops right out. He's right up there with the niggas that got classic albums. And he's revered on that level as well. But does he have a classic album? I don't think he has a classic album as a solo artist. I don't. He got good songs, a lot of them. But I don't think he has a classic album. I don't. Kiss got 4.5 mics, albums never hit the 5 mic level, and that's my favorite rapper. Kiss got classic verses and freestyles, but albums, no. Why was his highest selling song correct? It could have been, and that would probably be due to that was Anthony Hamilton on that joint, which made it, when you talk about, you know, a song that's gonna go over pop or be universally accepted, it's probably gonna have a real catchy hook or a nice hook on it. And Anthony Hamilton, he went crazy on that song. I remember when it came out, it was refreshing. It was different too. Why was different? He was talking about a lot of things that was going on in the world and shit like that. But has he ever compiled several songs, several power songs like Why on one project? And I don't think so. I don't. Kiss the Game Goodbye is a classic album, hands down. I need you to drop some information that will support that, because you're the only person saying that. Somebody else might say it. Somebody just said Kiss the Game Goodbye, The Last Kiss. My man said The Last Kiss had no skips, in my opinion. Name some songs from that joint. Kiss has good albums, but definitely not a classic. So does any one of his albums compare to Illmatic or The Purple Tape or All Eyes on Me? No. That's the problem here. When y'all say classic, can these albums that you talking about, can these albums go on the shelf next to Machiavelli? Like, these are the classics. This is the classic library right here, right? You're going to have Scarface up there. You're going to have Raekwon. You're going to have Nas. You're going to have Jay-Z. You're going to have Slick Rick. You're going to have Big Daddy Kane. There's a lot of guys who got classics. Does Jadakiss have an album that can sit on the shelf next to the other classics? He don't. He don't. It's the truth. It's the truth. He said cruising with Smoop. We Gonna Make It. The rest of the locks is on We Gonna Make It, I believe. That was a dope joint. I think that was Jadakiss' song. The We Gonna Make It. I'm almost positive that was his song. Big Trenton, what up? A classic album, it stands the test of time. It brings something new and fresh to hip hop. Hip hop will miss something if that album doesn't exist. That's a great way to put it. If we remove these songs if we remove these Jadakiss albums that y'all mentioned, The Last Kiss, Kiss the Game Goodbye, we won't miss them joints. You know why? Because we got Get Rich or Die Trying. We do. We got Get Rich or Die Trying. We got, what was Beanie Siegel's debut album? And that's somebody that Jadakiss battled. I always said that Beanie won that confrontation. I did. I always felt that Beanie won. I'm not being geographical either. What was it, The Truth? He don't have an album like that. He don't. The Truth, yeah. Jadakiss don't have an album like The Truth. He do not have an album like that. He don't. Do y'all agree? My man said Beanie Sigel don't have no classics either. You're crazy. The Truth is a debut classic. Out the gate, classic. You out of your mind, man. I think Beanie was the only person outside of Jay-Z that dropped a classic on Rockefeller. Did any of the other Rockefeller MCs drop something that you would say is a classic? It was just Jay-Z and Beans, right? The Becoming is a classic as well. It was just Jay-Z and Beanie, right? My man said The Truth is not a classic. You out of your goddamn mind. Have you ever heard What Your Life Like? Have you ever heard What Your Life Like? I could run these off easy. What Your Life Like? Ride. Who Want What? Pac-Man. You Crazy? Raw and Uncut. Ain't Raw and Uncut on Beanie's debut album? This is Raw and Uncut for all you niggas and hoes. And the first time sniffing them, I hurt your nose. Ain't that on The Truth? You wasting your time, man. You can't win that. Magic, Worthy, Parrish, Burby, Stockton, Malone, shit. Who gonna stop and hold us? Game like Doc and Moses. You crazy. He said, yeah, that's on there. Man, you crazy as hell. We gonna stop that now. Stop it. Beanie Sigel has a classic release on at least one. Some people are naming others. Unequivocally, Beanie Sigel dropped classic material on Rockefeller. Getting back to Jadakiss, this is not a diss to Jada. This came up because of something that I've been saying since the summertime. They asked Math Hoffa during this discussion, what do you think about all the rappers turning podcasters? He said, I think it's gay. I think it's gay too. I do. And he went on to elaborate. Why he feels that way. If somebody was to pose the question to Math Hoffa, you a rapper, why'd you turn podcaster? I wasn't no good at the shit. He wasn't no good at the shit. Like, everybody know that Math Hoffa's music wasn't no good. So, and the battle rap shit ain't the way it was. You see what just happened with Geechee Gotti. The battle rap shit is kind of like burnt out if y'all want to keep it real. So Math Hoffa pivoted and found a lane in podcasting. Have y'all watched Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda's podcast? Have y'all watched that shit? That is terrible. It ain't for everybody. That That shit garbage. That shit garbage. I happened to catch one yesterday. It just came through. You know how you be watching YouTube, your shit get to coming on. That shit's garbage. It's the this is what trip. I was in a barbershop watching it, right? They was interviewing A Boogie with the hoodie. This shit was terrible. Did y'all see that episode? Did y'all see that episode? Why the fuck them niggas' knees was out like that, yo? Did y'all watch that A Boogie with the hoodie episode? Did y'all see? He said Chrome Heart. Why them niggas' knees was out like that, yo? He said Chrome Hearts. Man, that shit whack as fuck. I'm like, yo, they're sitting down. They sitting down, right? The camera is pointed at them niggas, and you get their whole profile from their feet up, right? Why is them niggas? He said overchromed. Why is them niggas' knees out like that? He said, "Nah, I got to see it." The first thing that you gonna see is like, why the fuck is they knees out like that? These niggas got jeans, man. They not shredded. They cut the these niggas' whole kneecap is out. Like, Uncle Murder got on a pair of jeans, man. That's why I don't be wanting to wear my jewelry a lot. That's why there's certain things that bother me, right? I'm serious. He said, Young Blizzades, I don't like the look. And y'all, I know you guys will agree with me. There's a specific look that black men might wear if they're supposed to be successful. And it's gonna be a bunch of fucking chains on their neck. Everybody. I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit, man. I put my emphasis on the gym. Everybody can't do this. Everybody can't do this. He said played out. It's played out. I wear my tennis chains more than I wear my big cables. And I got gold specifically on purpose. It just looks strange. Everybody can't get this. You can't. You got to work for this. You can't go in a jewelry store and just get that. Seriously. Smoking weed is played out. Chains are starting to look corny and tasteless. It used to be, my man said, I like watches. It used to be somewhat of a status symbol. You know why? Everybody didn't have it. I remember when I was a kid and you would go to like amusement parks, or you would go to a fair or a carnival or some shit, and the drug boys showed up with their girls and shit. Y'all remember them days? Y'all remember what that was like when we was kids and the drug boys would show up? And you was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody didn't have that shit. Everybody didn't have truck jewelry. Everybody didn't have diamonds. So when you see it, it was like, damn. It ain't even no thrill to this shit no more. Does the trifecta help you get a boner? It does. A good one. A good one. Hell yeah. Living and looking like an athlete beats jewels and designer any day. It's not played out for young people. Young niggas can't even dress. Them niggas be wearing them fucking Pooh Shiesty masks in the summertime. A Boogie with the hoodie had on one during the interview last night. I'm like, so all y'all wear them goddamn masks too, huh? Niggas don't have no originality. They bugging out with that shit, yo. That's funny. That's what I think when I see Papoose with all them chains. It don't make you look thorough. It don't. It make you look common and ordinary. It does. It does. Then you got niggas that wear that shit every day. Self-esteem tied to the jewelry. Take that shit off, monkey. You a lame. The fuck out of here. My man said, I assume most jewelry is fake now. Working out and being healthy gives a vibration that women can't resist. Yeah. Getting back to the topic, I just wanted to point that out that he said that the podcast and shit is actually Gizay. And there was a topic that came across Instagram a few days ago, and a gentleman was saying, why isn't New York City represented in the big three? The big three being J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar. Why isn't someone from the birthplace into this equation? They can't be figured into it. Everybody's a goddamn podcaster. Everybody's a podcaster. Y'all don't think that shit is corny? Y'all don't think that shit is corny? Every time I hear a nigga say it, yeah, we got a podcast coming out. All of y'all got a podcast. Shit corny as fuck, man. Corny. Weak. Gully be cooking on all topics, but on these topics, he be on flow mode. Jada got some good albums, but nothing classic. I agree. He does not have a classic. He got classic mixtapes and songs. If Jadakiss had classics, he would have battled or used some of these classics in Madison Square Garden when they was battling the Diplomats. All of Jadakiss' weaponry in Madison Square Garden was mixtape shit. It was. I think he even was using songs that didn't belong to him. I believe that he did the Mariah Carey joint, right? That Honey, I believe that's the name of the song. That's Mariah Carey's song. So if he had classic material, he would have pulled this shit out during the versus competition in Madison Square Garden. This is not a diss to your favorite rapper. Hip hop is competition based. Like, we like to categorize who the greats are, and he's great in his own right, but he is not. Jadakiss is not Guru from Gang Starr. He's not. Jadakiss is not Guru from Gang Starr. He isn't. Jadakiss is not Jay-Z. He's not DMX. He's not Nas. There's certain guys who are on the level and shit, and there's certain people who never reach that level and shit. I often bring up Guru from Gang Starr. Guru was like one of them top niggas, like hands down. And that's what you don't get when you mention somebody like Jadakiss. Like when you mention somebody like Guru, all of the reverence and prestige is attached to that man. You know what I'm saying? And Jadakiss is like, even though he has had some commercial success and he has dropped solo projects, he don't get that unequivocal vote. There's some people that prefer Styles P over Jadakiss. And that would be a debate in itself. But some people, the word classic and legendary gets thrown around too loosely. Yeah. My man said Jay-Z is not Guru from Gang Starr. He really ain't. He really ain't. He not. He not. He not. And I know that even Hove will tilt his hat to the legacy and the prestige associated with Guru from Gang Starr. Guru came out the gate by his second album, like songs like Just to Get a Rep, Who's Gonna Take the Weight, Love Sick, like he was already gone early. Gone. You know what I'm saying? And he continued all the way until he passed away. But Jadakiss don't have that. He just don't. And it's no disrespect to him. Quiet as kept, Sheik had the best verse on a lot of their biggest songs as a group, including All About the Benjamins. Sheik often got off. He often got off. He said, Gully, you tripping. If I'm speaking about Keith Elam from Boston, I know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. I lived through that shit. I lived through that shit. I watched Guru before he was bald head slick, before Group Home, before Big Suge, before all of that shit, before Jazzmatazz and his collaborations with I think his name is Wynton Marsalis, the jazz musician. I was tuned in to Guru early. When you raised a Muslim and you a kid, there was a time when we kind of like stood out, almost like weirdos. When you first seen the Hebrew Israelites in your community, you like, yo, who is them niggas? Why they wearing all that white shit? When I was running around with a bow tie on and a bean pie in my hand, people like, yo, what the fuck is that about? Like, what is they on? That's not Christian. That's not Jesus. You know what I'm saying? But when Guru came to the table and he said, I was raised like a Muslim, praying to the East, all of a sudden, people like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Rakim, all praise is due to Allah, and that's a blessing. With knowledge of self, there's nothing I can't solve. These events happen like back to back to back. You know what I'm saying? Chuck D. I'm talking about Farrakhan. Don't tell me that you understand until you hear the man. That's when people started to, okay, listen a little bit more and shit. But Guru was one of the guys. That's why I'm down with the nation. Spirituality supports, what he said? Yeah, spirituality supports reality. Yeah, that's Guru, and I love him for it. So we go, Jadakiss is not Guru. Jadakiss and Guru also had a dope ass song together called Right Where You Stand. They was going toe to toe. They was getting that shit. But that's Guru's song. That's not Jadakiss' song. Getting back to the topic, the Locks debut album, Money, Power, Respect, January 13th, 1998 classic. Jadakiss still has a chance. He probably don't have the passion anymore. He probably don't have the passion anymore. It probably don't even interest him at this point. But he didn't drop the classic album that people were expecting. That's just the truth. He said, Gully, they don't understand, you know. And I lived that shit. Them niggas started, them rappers started to appear in the Final Call newspaper. Now I could sell one. I couldn't even sell. Motherfuckers wasn't trying to buy the paper. Motherfuckers didn't want none of this knowledge, none of this Muhammad speaks. Like, motherfuckers didn't want none of that shit. Once they start opening it up, they seeing Chuck D and the S1Ws and Ice Cube and Kane and, man, let me get a copy of that paper. What you got going on there? Yeah. My man said neither the Fab. I can't enter a debate about that. People been saying the same thing about Fab. 50 Cent said it about him a few months ago. He said most of Fab's songs that he's revered from, they were collaborations and they weren't his songs. They were songs he was featured on. So I can't dispute that either. I can't. And I'm a big Fabulous fan. Seriously. Ever heard that Mason Guru freestyle on Tim Westwood? Nah. Kiss actually did the verses against Fab before the Dipset, and he did his solo joints. Kiss the Game Goodbye has We Gon' Make It, Knock Yourself Out, Put Your Hands Up, featuring DMX, Show Discipline, Y'all Crazy. Think you named about 5 joints. We Gon' Make It and Knock Yourself Out. Both of those have music videos. I accept what you just said and everything that you typed to support that. But when we speak a classic, can what you just said go on the shelf next to Reasonable Doubt, The Purple Tape, The Adventures of Slick Rick, It Was Written by Nas, Machiavelli by Tupac, All Eyes on Me by Tupac? It can't. 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 when we speak of classics, it has to be able to stand up and stand next to. If we put all of them CDs that I just mentioned together in a CD drive, it's gonna be a long night for that Jadakiss album. If we was in a 6 disc CD changer and we taking a trip across country, it's gonna be hell for Jadakiss to get some play with the rest of them dudes in that fucking CD changer. I'm just being for real. Jada has no classic album, maybe mixtapes. His first album was close, but not a classic. Off subject, but CL Smooth was a monster. Why no mention him and Grand Puba with more respect? It's funny that you said that because I was considering mentioning Grand Puba with the rest of them niggas, but I feel that Grand Puba's debut album, solo joint, I think it was called Real to Real, came out in like 91 or something like that. It was okay, but I can't put it up there with his peers. I can't put it up there with Ready to Die or I just can't do it. I can't. CL Smooth, I don't think CL Smooth ever had a solo album. Mecca and the Soul Brother, that was him and Pete Rock together and shit. So that wouldn't be, I couldn't categorize that as a legendary solo project because it was him and Rock. And I'm glad you mentioned CL Smooth because I see what he's going through with Pete Rock. People have no idea how special that dude was. You would have had to live through that. When they reminisce over you, straighten it out and all of them joints. And he was fly nigga and shit. Like if you go back and watch the old Pete Rock and CL Smooth music videos, them videos are so vintage, man, on the fashion tip. Like seriously. But he just, it was so long ago. He never even dropped anything that could remotely measure up to that. But CL Smooth was problem, Joe, for real. He said classic. He's both big albums. He said, I didn't hear you mention anything about Big. I just said Big. I just said Ready to Die, man. What the fuck is wrong with you and shit? I just said Ready to Die a second ago. The best time for the Lox was when they were a 4-man group. I don't even remember. Oh, you talking about with J Hood? That was all mixtape work. That wasn't like I don't think Hood was on any of their album runs and shit. I could be wrong, but nah. Black Rob first album, classic. It'd be funny seeing you like some Eminem songs on Instagram. I was never against Eminem. I want to clear that up. When I say I was never against him, I said the shit was whack. I didn't have anything against him personally. I said the shit was whack. But for whatever reason, I think it has a lot to do with him. I think they starting to play more of his songs on Pandora. So I heard that song called No Apologies. I heard Who Knew. I heard Fall recently. And because I'm an unbiased platform, I got white guys to watch my platform. They might not agree with what I say about Eminem. I have to keep an open mind. If I hear something dope by him, I'm gonna tell it to everybody because I've been bashing a nigga for years. But that jam Who Knew by Eminem, that shit is fire. And yes, he gets busy. Yes, he gets busy. I said the shit was whack because I can't relate to 9-inch nails under my eyelids and all of that crazy shit. It ain't for me. You know what I mean? The whole he's one of the greats and shit like that. He is not. You know what I'm saying? He is not. He is not. I'm not gonna take nothing that he ever put out, not nothing that he ever put out, album wise, and put it on the shelf next to Only Built for Cuban Links. No, you know what I'm saying? But it's my job to be unbiased, man. I would lose credibility if be up here saying that the nigga whack and he got some dope shit. You know what he need? I said this to my man. Shout out to Grindstone. I said this to my man Grindstone. I said you niggas need to make a a black folks playlist for Eminem. That's what he need. We need somebody to filter Eminem's music and say, here go the black joints right here. Because it's not all of them joints ain't black joints. But he got something that we can sink our teeth in. We just need one of you niggas who familiar with his entire body of work to say, here go the black joints right here. Y'all fuck with these. The rest of this shit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you need a black folks playlist that will appeal to our palate. We like certain types of beats and melodies and shit like that. If you can't get this, if you can't get it ain't this black folks ain't fucking with it, man. If you can't get no Diddy Bop going to it, that ain't it. That's just the rules, man. That's just the rules. I don't make up the rules, man, but the head nod, that accounts for something. If you can't, didn't you see the movie Barbershop when they cut on some music in there? The whole barbershop got the, hey, that's a hip hop experience. If you don't get no bop, you got to go back to the drawing board, man. You got to go back to the drawing board. I'm sorry. Seriously. You rock with Doom. I was more in tune with Homeboy when he was Zev Love X. Peach Fuzz. Look up a song called Peach Fuzz by KMD. Them niggas giving that shit up. They dressed in all white. I believe they was a part of the Ansar community at the time. Peach Fuzz is that shit, but that's Zev Love X on there. He on some third bass songs too. I think he on Gas Face. Yeah. The music stopped them from fighting in the barbershop. Yeah, man. So if it doesn't have that type of appeal, good music should resonate with your soul and shit. It's a vibration. It's a rhythm. You know what I mean? If you're not bringing that to the table, I've often said this. I said Eminem don't got no soul and shit. But I've been hearing some joints lately, and I'm gonna share them with y'all when I come across them because this is a hip hop platform. Dre had White punch and 20 times to say blame it on the Maryland. He said we forgot about Jeezy first album classic. Marley Marl said when he made beats, if people didn't bop or react on a block, he was scrapping. That should be the law. That's law. That's law. Period. He said Mockingbird by Eminem. Rock Marcy birthed this era, period. Him, Prodigy, MF Doom, and Sean Price. M got a nice joint with Nate Dogg till I collapse. Thank you. Lil Yachty said hip-hop was whack in the 80s and he's trash. Now, he said something about Rapper's Delight that was disrespectful, if I'm not mistaken. That was one of the first jams that banged in our cribs and shit. When you get to talking about songs like Rapper's Delight, Planet Rock, and shit like that, these is black folk songs. These are songs that come on right now, and your grandmama, she remember hip hop, a hibbit to the hip hop, and you don't stop a rock. They remember that. That was that song was made off a beat by Chic. I think the song was called Good Times. That's black folks music. He's just displaying the fact that he's not in tune. He's young, so he don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? It's people that's his age that don't even know about Gang Starr, that don't even know about Guru, that ain't even hip. Like, no way, no how. So that's why, you need credible hip-hop platforms to bring this shit to the table and put these things into perspective. Straight up. He said, you don't rock with ODB? I like Old Dirty Bastard. He's not my favorite out of the Wu. Old Dirty Bastard is an acquired taste. I like some of the things that he brought to the table. I do. If Eminem came to Alabama with his top 10 songs, nobody would bop their heads. The group Home had a fire album that may be Premier's best body of work. I don't know about that. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Good morning, everybody. We here discussing whether or not Jadakiss, the talented MC from the Locks, has a solo offering on his resume. And for the most part, the sentiments in this chat this morning is that he doesn't. He still got time, but he don't. And the whole thing with all of the rappers going to podcasting, there's some people responsible for that. I have a list. The people responsible for these niggas turning to podcasting is 38 Special, Rome Streets, Rock Marciano, Conway, Benny the Butcher, Flea Lord, Knowledge the Pirate, Hush Kingpin. What's my man name? Ooh, dang. Ason Eastwood. They ain't gonna let me lay this down. YNX 716. There's more. Mayhem Loren. It's niggas just putting out some shit that you just gotta have your dribble right, and these niggas ain't been able to keep up with the wave that's out here right now. You know what I'm saying? And hey, go back to the drawing board. Planet Asia, Ransom. They said Stove God. Ito is my guy. Shout out to Ito. He in it. There's a plethora of MCs, man, who bringing it to the table, man, who really doing their thing, man, and they putting out a product that's universally accepted. They appreciate it as much as they're appreciated in America. They're appreciated in Europe and shit like that. And everybody not doing that. That creates a phobia. These niggas be thinking about, will I fail? Will people accept this? It's just the truth. He could pull it off with a good executive producer. If Jadakiss does a full album with Alchemist, he can pull it off. His albums are fire. There's just something missing on his albums. I was thinking this morning about his body. And I was thinking, I'm like, damn, he don't got no joints for the girls. He do. He does. The Locks got female joints that will appeal to females. They do. It's just that the bar is set very high, and everybody shouldn't be able to wear classic. If everybody was able to wear the crown of classic, it wouldn't be no prestige. And he's somebody that he just didn't do it. He probably came close as a group. The Locks, they in there, they got a classic project. But as a solo artist, he really don't. I'm serious. My man says Splash Alka. Y'all naming all of the niggas from the PILLMATIC series. Go get PILLMATIC 3. Most of them niggas that I named, they on there. Go get them. Go get it. PILLMATIC 3 available on all streaming platforms. Shout out to Splash Alka from the Bronx. He's on PILLMATIC 2. We got heat. We do. Shout out to Yasin from Staten Island. Jada's like AZ, close but no classic. I don't know, man. I think Pieces of a Man is classic. Don't get AZ wrapped up into that bullshit. I can't accept that. No. Pieces of a Man is a classic album. Can I get a witness? Pieces of a Man. Come get your love tonight. Everything's gonna be all right. That Pieces of a Man is classic. Yeah. AZ has a classic. Some people might even argue that Do or Die, the debut by AZ, was a classic. I'm gonna go with Pieces of a Man. I like Pieces of a Man. Half a Meal is on that joint. Pieces of a Black Man is better than Illmatic. I think so. I think so. I think so. I'll take Pieces of a Man over Illmatic. I will. No bullshit. No bullshit. 8-Ball and MJG. 8-Ball and MJG first joint coming out hard. That's a classic. If you want to go beyond that, go beyond that. You want to go as far as Space Age Pimping and shit like that, I'll accept that. There's classics, man. There's classics, man. And if you're gonna wear the crown of classic, it has to be consistent with the Tupacs, with the Jay-Z's, with the Raekwons, with the Nas Escobars. That's just what it is. Slick Rick the Ruler, Big Daddy Kane. There's more, man. I hope I ain't leaving nobody out. There's more. Don Cartagena. It was a lot of niggas on there. Don Cartagena by Fat Joe is his classic. If y'all like some other ones, cool. But Don Cartagena is a classic. And I'm going to tell you something else that's a classic that I see niggas be trying to attack. N.O.R.E. by Noriega is a classic. Period. We don't want to... He said this and he said that. Man, that shit was banging. That shit was banging. That nigga was blazing hot. That was one of the baddest CDs out at that time. It's a dude that be making these videos on TikTok called Whack Bars, and he be trying to take Noriega, he be trying to take him through there. N.O.R.E. is a classic. He had an unorthodox flow. That he was giving it up. That's that shit. And if you need any reference tracks, I got them. There's several, man. One of them is Bodies in the Trunk with Nas and shit. There's no holes in that album. There's no holes in CNN's debut album either. The songs that he was on by himself. Well, this ain't the pot calling the kettle black. I used to sell crack. You never sold drugs to stop fronting. That's that shit. That's that shit. So, no Noriega slander will be tolerated. Jadakiss don't got an album like N.O.R.E. He don't. I'm sorry. He don't. He don't. It's no disrespect. I Love My Life. Another one. Capital Punishment was a classic. Nori is probably the only rapper where you ain't got to question him having a ghostwriter. He definitely had one on Bodies in the Trunk with Nas. That was, you could tell. Like, whenever they was done, Nas went over that song with the pen and pad, and I'm going to put this word here. Say it like this. Got it? All right, let's go. So that's what happened. Because his flow and his style was unorthodox, but Bodies in the Trunk, he gave that shit up. He's on Blood Money too. Yeah, Nori ain't no holes in the story. He said, yeah, Nas definitely proofread that. He said he had a proofreader. Yo. He said if Nori was a classic, why can't Jada Kiss the Game Goodbye? He don't have the same songs, man. He don't. Noriega was on a tear for like about 3 or 4 years. The shit that he did with Pharrell, Star Trek, on the Belly soundtrack, that song, Sometimes I Used to Rhyme and Smoke. Sometimes I got money and I still feel broke. I got a older homie. He's not on. He's older than me. He's like in his 50s, but he's not a devout hip hop nigga like I am. He own a gym. Shout out to my man Spunk. when I go in his gym, as soon as I get in there, he like, Mill, get that he got a Bluetooth speaker in the gym. So when I get there, he might have the Bluetooth speaker hooked up to he got a movie projector in there, and it'll be playing music from on demand. Music choice. He'll be playing music choice, whatever comes on. When I come in there, he like, Mill, you already know what to do. Cut my Bluetooth on and let my playlist play. And that song, Sometimes I Got Money, but I Still Feel Broke. He walked up to me one day when that shit was playing, and he shook his head, man. He was like, yo, man, this song right here, man, this nigga just was saying everything that was on my mind in 1998. He was in federal trouble in 98, and he was just going through it. He was like, this song is just everything. Jadakiss, he probably have songs that have sentimental value, like Sometimes by Noriega, but Nori was on a tear for some years. He was. Banned from TV was Noriega's song. Don't ever forget that. So for you who ask me about why Jadakiss don't have this, Banned from TV is a song that featured Jadakiss and Styles. They're on that joint. That was on Noriega's debut album. So, excuse me. That's my rebuttal to what you just said. He said, Banned from TV is from Nori's album, and Jada used that in every verse. They used that in Madison Square Garden. They was like, y'all ain't never seen nobody do this, and they went back to back. That was Nori's song. We Are the Streets is a classic. I agree. That's the one I was looking for. In addition to Money, Power, Respect, We Are the Streets. That got that song Fuck You on there, right? If you hope we wouldn't make it, fuck you. That's on We Are the Streets, right? That's classic. That album's classic. So this ain't we're not scrutinizing the Locks, we're scrutinizing Jadakiss. And I'm pretty sure that he ends up in this situation. I see a lot of people in here saying OC. I met OC recently. I didn't get down, and I remember him being in the Source. I didn't get down with his relevance, his body of work. To them niggas did that. They was rapping on to some live instruments. I forget the name of the platform. And they was doing a song called Day One, and that's with the whole digging in the crates. They killed that shit. And that's when I didn't understand the reverence and the prestige associated with Lord Finesse. If you guys don't know who Lord Finesse is, y'all need to hear this nigga. They say that he inspired those that came behind him, like Nas and I think Raekwon, maybe Big L. Lord Finesse, this nigga Lord Finesse, he's from the Bronx, I believe. This nigga slick, he nice. Like when you listening to some music that came out in the early 90s, 92, 93 and shit like that. I got down with it in 2024. And it sound fresh today. You already know what time it was. You already know where he was at in his prime. So, yeah, Lord Finesse. Check that out and shit. He said, Lord Finesse reminds me of 38 Special now. Back in the day, I was banging his Funky Technician song. Here's the punchline guy. The punchline style was not a thing before him. Okay. You could tell Lord Finesse had a lot to do with Big L style. Definitely. Definitely. He's dead nice. We coming up on an hour, and I wanted to open the hotline. I got the other phone right here next to me. I wanted to open up the hotline this morning. I was having some problems with this phone. I just bought it. It's brand new, and I didn't make a call on it to see if it was activated. So something is going on. I got to go back to the phone shop and see what's up. But I wanted y'all to be able to chime in on my live stream. But we gonna get to that. We are. Make sure you go check out the interview I did last night with Homeboy from. I gotta talk about this. I was gonna make a separate video. on the green screen, and I might still do it, but I'm just gonna say this. Homeboy, DJ Scripps, y'all gonna hear him on my new podcast. It's called The Podium. Last night we had a discussion about Haitians getting jumped on in school in the 80s and 90s. After I got off the phone with him, I gave it some thought. And I came to this conclusion. To all my Haitian supporters, all my Jamaican supporters, y'all wasn't the only ones getting y'all ass kicked at school. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. That ass kicking that was going on in junior high, it was mainly junior high. By the time niggas got to high school, niggas didn't want to scuff their sneakers up. Niggas had, kind of like broke off. Like, we not walking to school in packs no more. Niggas is walking with their girlfriends now. Like, it was a window of immaturity. The CNN album is a classic. Sam, I appreciate your super chat. It was a brief window of immaturity. Kids are mean. I had to apologize to somebody recently for some shit that I did in elementary school. Listen, y'all wasn't the only ones getting y'all ass kicked at school. That's just what it was in inner cities and shit. Going to school, especially coming home from school, it was going to be some fighting. You know why? Because when you're a kid, you ain't got no discipline. You ain't got no sense. You ain't got no discretion with you. You got the peer pressure thing, like somebody says something about you and you get the, ooh. So now y'all fighting about a nigga who said something about your haircut or some shit. All of that didn't, by the time you got to high school, that was out of your system. But I'm telling you, just as many Americans was getting their ass kicked at school. It wasn't, they probably was saying shit to y'all. Y'all smelled funny. People from other cultures do smell different than what we're accustomed to smelling. I done been to other countries and shit, and they do smell. They whole environment smell different. And I'm gonna tell you what I think it is, because once I got into my holistic bag, I started going to a lot of Asian stores, a lot of African stores, a lot of stores from the Middle East, and it's that the stores smell different. It's them fucking herbs and spices, them pungent ass spices y'all be using. And that shit that y'all be eating, it be coming out your pores when you in school. And Americans ain't used to smelling that shit. So as soon as the fuck is that? It might be garlic, turmeric, and a bunch of other shit coming out your pores that your mama done fed you some cuisine from your culture, so you smell funny. And kids is gonna say, ugh, this nigga stink. Because they ain't got no discipline, they kids. So you dealt with that. The ass kicking part. I'm telling you, man, I went to a school in junior high called Wilson. He said Curry. Yeah, I went to a school called Wilson in junior high. It was a street, I think it's Reed. Yeah, Reed Street was the next street over from Wilson Middle School. Walking down this hill, this is a notorious hill. Wilson was on a hill. Walking down this hill, every day, there's gonna be multiple fights. Somebody gonna get their ass kicked on this hill, right? When you a kid, I've spoken many a times about, I'm from 17th and German. We would leave 17th Street, that's a project, going to school, walking. We leaving the projects 15 deep. It's 15 of us leaving the projects. By the time we get to 23rd Street, 23rd and 24th Street, we 25 or 30 deep, because now it ain't just us from 17th Street. We got the niggas from 21st Street with us. We got the niggas from 22nd Street, 23rd Street, and 24th Street, because it's all on German Street. So you got the whole German Street going to one school. We 30 deep. You're going to get into it with some out of this 30 boys and girls, because the girls was with it too. Out of these 30 people, Grand Rising Gully, I appreciate your super chat. What's your rating on Cool G Rap status being in the classics? I don't think he got. You probably can throw 4, 5, 6 in there. I don't know. We have to discuss it a little bit further. But to my understanding, his 4, 5, 6 project with Nas, Fast Life and Fast Car, that was his solo joint that everybody liked. Getting back to what I was saying, we walk into school, we 30 deep. During the course of the school day, somebody out of these 30 kids is gonna get into it with somebody, right? When we get out of school, the person that you got into it with is from German Street. So you got 29 other motherfuckers who's probably gonna get in it and jump on your ass and shit. So I say this to say that there's strength in numbers. And the Haitians, y'all probably should have been coming to school 20 deep. You know what I'm saying? Y'all probably should have been coming to school 20 deep. Same with the Jamaicans. And it probably went 20 of y'all. But I'm just saying, there's strength in numbers. Nobody wants to mingle with, like, we would come to school and people hated us about this shit all the way into adulthood. Like, all the way into adulthood to when niggas got guns and shit. Niggas was still tripping off of them ass whoopings from Wilson and shit. Like, they rolled on us or this happened and shit. Like, all of that, getting your fucking jacket taken, getting your starter jacket taken, motherfucking snatch your cap off your head like this and passed it to somebody. You look around, the niggas done passed it to 3 different motherfuckers before a nigga put it in his jacket. You looking around like, who got my hat? Come on, man. Jamil, you got my hat. I'm like, check me. I ain't got it. Because I done passed it to a nigga who done passed it to a nigga who done passed it to a nigga. And we gonna wear it when we get back to the projects. People was dealing with that. And that was just how it was in public schools in America. I'm serious. I moved to Norfolk, Virginia in the 6th grade. I moved to Norfolk, Virginia in the 6th grade to the projects, Point Terrace projects. They called it the Hole. I was introduced to one kid, my aunt's neighbor. His name was Wesley Anthony Penn. It's my man to this day. We had a school dance, and the nigga that I was introduced to, that I used to walk to school with, because my aunt introduced me to him. I used to walk to school with him. Didn't really know anybody else. We had a school dance. He get into a rumble. I jumped in it because I'm just wired to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just wired to go because of, I just came from the north and we already on some mob shit. So without even thinking, I jumped in it. We stomping this nigga out. Boom. So he was from another project called Oakmont. And they got back to them niggas. They want to know who was the boy that banked. They jumping. They call it banking somebody. Who was the nigga that banked Roy? We want him. And they wanted a piece of my ass about that shit. They wasn't on Wesley. They wanted me. The next day when I came out to walk to school, it wasn't just Wesley that I was walking to school with. Now it's like 10 niggas walking with me. Why? Because he's from Point Terrace now. He live in the terrace now. So he's one of us. So if y'all want to make it a Point Terrace and Oakmont thing, we already doing that. Before I even got to the school, they was already on that. You know what I mean? So if y'all want to make it into that, that's what it's going to be. But a lot of people was getting their ass kicked in junior high. That was a part of the junior high experience. Like I said, by the time niggas got to high school, niggas was getting money. Niggas had cars. Niggas wasn't on that. But that early on shit, y'all wasn't special. It was niggas getting their ass whooped every day too. It was niggas getting chased home from school every day too. How do I know? Because we was chasing niggas. For real. For real. Word, we all got it when we were young. In Jersey, it was a street called 4th Ave Stretch from East Orange and Newark. You walk on the street, you fighting. You already knew what time it was, man. You be looking at the clock, the bell about to ring and shit. You hurry up and get your belongings and you run out a door to where your people was going to be and shit. You don't even want to get caught dolo because you know you got a problem after school and shit. So I'm trying to get to where 17th Street is at and shit, man. And they right on the side of the school on Reed. And we walking home from school 25, 30 deep. Like, you want a piece of that? Straight up. Straight up. Ass whoopings build character. Yeah, anybody can get it. I played football. Ain't no bigger gang than that of high school. Anybody could get it. It wasn't. So I thought about it. I should have told him that during, like, man, these is kids and shit. Like, kids are mean. Kids is the one that's saying, your mama this and your hair nappy and shit. People wasn't doing that in high school or like that. It was more intense because kids is going to be kids. I had so many fights in junior high, I'm surprised I even passed. I remember I fell asleep one time in class and they turned my book bag inside out, hid my books, Erasmus Hall, Flatbush. I got saved from a couple ass whoopings I could have took. He said, nah, high school too. Everybody got picked on. Can we agree that everybody was getting it? That's what it was, period. Like, you get into it with a nigga in lunch and he promised you some rec after school and shit, like that should be on your mind all the way until after school. Straight up. Straight up. Anyway, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get the notifications. Don't nobody do it like this. Don't nobody do it like Gully TV. They don't, man. There's a difference. Hip-hop, sports, fashion, holistic healing, world travel. Right here on the Real Gully TV. Follow me on Instagram at I am Gully TV _. My personal IG page is at Dribble Almighty. And go to the website and get that trifecta, man, so your skin glow like this here and shit. That's the trifecta do. It make your skin glow and your dick grow. Peace.